Episode 75 in Barcelona.
3/4 of 100.
3/4 of 100. We found this sick spot out here. You can see the water, whole city. It's a cool soccer field. We were trying to record the episode here, but one, I don't think you can see our faces because of the shadow, and then two, there's no place to sit.
This is actually the field that Messi played on when he was playing for Barcelona.
Yeah, this is FC Barcelona Stadium. Alan has running shoes. Woo!
Let's go.
Finally, the one thing you couldn't forget.
I know.
How many runs have you been on yet?
I've been on one.
And we've had it for?
Like a week.
That's
But
fine.
we were in Senegal, and there wasn't really a great place to run without getting in a potentially sketchy situation. So,
You also found the shoes at the one place that you knew you were going to find them at. They just happened to be a different country.
all along.
So while I was editing the pod last week, Alan was just adventuring around Madrid, getting running shoes.
Yep, and finally got to use a little bit of Spanish. It didn't go as well as planned. So I went into a store to get, because I got my new phone too.
Yeah.
That thing we may have talked about last time. Shout out Gene Jordan for sending that.
And shout out Jack and Savannah
for bringing it.
for meeting us in Madrid.
It's big time. But I needed a case on it because I just knew that I was going to break my phone immediately if I didn't put a case on it. So went in this store,
Smart.
got a case. I like prepared myself by like thinking exactly what to say in Spanish to the cashier. Went in, knocked it out, thought I did great. A little bit of hiccup there here and there, but went out in the park to go put my phone in the case, and I got a 15 regular instead of a 15 Pro.
And you got a
case,
15 Pro
and I
because
have a
bougie.
15 Pro. And I've never had a Pro before. I didn't know there was any kind of difference. So I had to go back in and then try to re-explain exactly what I needed, which was just a little language barrier there, but it worked. It was okay. And then went into the Decathlon to get the shoes. Everything went pretty smoothly there, but then I found some headphones on it.
Which are pretty sweet headphones.
Which are sweet. They are the bone conduction ones, so they sit like right here, and that way when you're running, you can still hear around you. So it was locked up in a case, and I asked the worker, hey, can you get that out for me? Everything went well with it. He had to walk it up to the front, and there was a spot where there was a wall, and he walked left, and he told me to go right to like get in the checkout line, and then he just disappeared. And I didn't have a clue where
¿Dónde está?
Yeah, ¿Dónde está? That's all I know how to say. And so I had to go around the entire store looking for him, and couldn't find him anywhere. Eventually found him, and I was like, dude, what happened with the headphones? Like, ¿Dónde está headphones? And apparently he had dropped it off at front, and I was supposed to get in the checkout line and ask the lady for it. It was this big ordeal. But it ended
Just
up
lost in translation.
getting the headphones there. So a little bit of a hiccup with translation stuff, but doing well overall. Yeah.
Also, it is whipping. Oh, the phone's falling over. Let's reset that.
Yikes.
That's perfectly on cue because I was just about to say it's whipping out here, and so I have no idea how it's going to sound. But hopefully it sounds good.
There's
And
no
we're just
telling.
going to keep rolling with this. So, we got the headphones. You got the headphones. You got the shoes. Had a good adventure to Decathlon.
Yep.
And I got to edit a podcast.
Yeah. It's good.
All
you didn't
around
even really
with
get to explore Madrid very much.
Not really. I mean, it was cool. I would say, like, the bummer of all of it is we were in Madrid, left on, what day did we even leave? Left on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
And then the Championship League final was that Saturday? Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
Which was
and
awesome.
Real Madrid was in it.
Yeah. And then we come to Madrid on Sunday again for, just a layover.
Right.
But still, I am not a soccer fan. You see, I just called it soccer, so anyone who's a football fan would be laughing at me right
We know
now.
the real football.
But it was awesome. We watched it at this coffee shop in Senegal called Curiosity. Super cool, with a bunch of people who love watching soccer. And it was a great atmosphere. But that would have been sick to have been in Madrid for that. That's like my one regret of being just a few days off. And we're over again.
I want to put something on top of that.
Just lost the phone again, but we're back up rolling.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would have been
It's
fun.
windy.
Yeah. Would have been fun to have watched the game in Madrid.
Yeah. If I could change something about the trip, that's what I would do. Just like maybe get back, like leave a day earlier and come back to Madrid for an extra day, and that would be the day.
True. But it was still awesome watching it there. So don't even regret it too much. But Madrid was interesting because I didn't really explore it a lot. It was kind of 2 days to catch up on things, which was good.
Yeah.
It is whipping right now. It's awesome, though. Barcelona. So that's where we're at right now. We haven't explored it a ton yet. We got to ride some bikes along the shore, which was really fun. Get some good tapas. That was fire. Going to get some paella right after this. And I think check out the FC Barcelona stadium.
Yep. Camp Nou. The house that Messi built.
The house that Messi built.
Excited for that. We should have went to the Real Madrid.
We should have. But back to them winning it all. I, as a newfound Real Madrid fan, just kidding, I'm not. But I'm not a fan at all. But I was just looking it up, and they've won. This was their 15th European Cup win, and I think if I have it
Champions League wins.
Is that not? I was. This is how little I know. When I was looking at it, they were calling it the European Cup.
Essentially, but like Euros is different than.
Oh, did I say Euro Cup?
No, you said that, but the official name is like the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah, that thing.
It can be a little confusing.
Anyway, it looked like it was their 15th win of that.
Yeah.
And I think that it was either 6th or 9th consecutive final appearance that they won.
It's impressive.
They don't like finishing as runners-up.
The announcer said winning is a habit, and that's definitely true.
That is
Would
true.
love to get into that habit.
I would say of the La Liga teams, I like FC Barcelona more.
Yeah, Barcelona is a little bit more chill of a city. It's just on the coast. Beautiful.
Coastal vibes.
Madrid seemed a little bit more uppity. It was still a cool city, but Barcelona's a little more laid back.
It's a good experience.
And it makes sense because Ronaldo is a little bit more uppity and Messi's a little more laid back. Neither of those players play on those teams anymore.
Shout out Messi, or not Messi's land, Ronaldo's land.
Yeah.
Saw his airport.
That was cool. Cristiano Ronaldo Airport.
We still never, while we were on the island, located where he was from. We looked it up afterwards, but we didn't.
Funchal. Basically the biggest city on that
island. The whole
island
time we were like, it can't be that. That's the one.
No, he's got to be from this little town.
It's going to be from this one. Any soccer stadium we saw, or a soccer field, we're like, that's definitely Ronaldo's.
Yeah.
But
turns out none of them were.
Other sports news. Oh, you mind pulling that up? South Carolina, in heartbreaking fashion, lost in the regional.
Heartbreaking fashion, also saw it coming with lack of pitching and just the way that our team relies solely on home runs, it feels like.
But we felt like in
points.
Hoover, we had a good run then. It just felt like maybe that would translate. Came back and won game 1 against JMU, then lost game 2 against NC State. Just gave up way too many home runs in that game.
Yeah.
And then lost to JMU to lose.
But pulling for the Wolfpack from here on out, like I said before, that's my favorite ACC team, so go Pack. Hate that we lost to them, but
I'm a sore loser. I don't want anyone to win. If my team loses, I don't want to watch.
Well, Clemson and Tennessee are both in super regionals, so you got to pull for somebody else.
Pull against the orange teams.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no orange.
Let's see. What else do we have?
So we got Justin
Kingston
Jefferson.
got fired, though. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, I thought that's what you said. My bad.
Oh.
Right over my head.
No, I was just saying that I don't care about anything after we lose. But Kingston got fired after this loss, which I think
it's going to be good for the program.
I think it's probably good for the program.
Yeah, he had a losing record overall in SEC play. I think it was like 80-something and 90-something. So it was about 500, but that's not what you want at South Carolina with baseball.
I mean, we were talking about it with my brother, which we'll get into when we were in Senegal. But, I mean, South Carolina had the years on top, the back-to-back, the one afterwards. But even before that, there's the 20 consecutive 40-win seasons and then 40 consecutive 20-win seasons.
Yeah.
There's a lot to live up to.
A lot of dominant history.
A lot of falling apart in the postseason. But until then, you got to be more than 500 in the SEC. That's not going to cut it.
For sure.
Then,
excited to see where we go from there with coaches.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hopefully it's a good hire.
Yep.
Maybe Ray Tanner comes back.
Would love that.
Would love that. Love Ray Tanner. Justin Jefferson got paid. The Vikings signed the 3-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, to a 4-year, $140 million extension, which is the most by any non-quarterback ever. Insane.
Big time.
And your guy.
And he's on my team.
And who else is on your team?
Who's that?
Waddle. Also got an extension.
Let's go. Yeah.
What team is Justin Jefferson on of yours?
The
Dream Team. The Dream Team. I was like, we're not in a dynasty fantasy league, and we haven't drafted yet.
We basically are.
I'm just gonna go ahead and call it now.
Basically on a 1v1 dynasty league at the moment. But
we should get
excited that Waddle's going to stay around in Miami for a while.
Dynasty league, though, if anyone's listening that wants to be in a dynasty league, I think they'll be fun to start one. So just shoot us a message.
Yeah, let us
down
know.
for
We
that?
want people that are actually going to buy into
Yeah.
it. I've been in fantasy leagues before where people stop caring like a couple weeks through. Dynasty League, you got to be in on it. So
You
that'll
don't
be a lot of fun if anybody wants to join.
don't have to be good. You just have to pay attention. Fair enough to say.
Yeah.
What else we got? What's next? What's
We got
sports?
another MLB betting scandal. So Padres infielder Takupita Marcano, which is I probably super butchered his name, but that's okay because he's in a scandal. He's facing
We
a
don't like him
potential
anyway.
lifetime ban from the MLB for allegedly betting on multiple games involving the Pirates, who he was playing for, last season when he was on their injured list. That's tough.
Not good.
That's tough. I mean, all right, so my stance on betting,
Oh, yeah, go
if
for
you're
it.
betting for your team, I think it's fine. If you're betting against your team, terrible.
Yeah, because if you're betting for your team, what are you going to do? Like, try harder and do better?
Right. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. Goes back to the Pete Rose deal,
Yeah.
which is essentially what he allegedly did. But if you're betting against your team, which I don't know what this guy was doing, that's a big no-no. But we know in baseball that you can't bet unless you're, a worldwide superstar like Ohtani.
I was about to say, wild take, what if this scandal was a plan to get a little heat off of the Ohtani talk? They're like, we know that people are going to talk about betting and everything. Let's take it off of Ohtani and put it on this other guy, this chump.
And they just put it on this guy? Wouldn't put it
They're
past
like,
him.
hey, here's a cool $50 million. You can go ahead and retire. You're going to have a little bit of a disgraced name, but who really cares? Pete Rose is going to take the cake for all of baseball there.
Could be. Everybody needs a fall guy, right?
Everyone needs a fall guy.
That's
Oh, yeah, you're good. We're still recording it.
okay.
Let's
cool.
go. We're checking. Again, I have no idea how this is going to sound to anyone listening. The view's cool. So
Cool view.
we're trying to stay a little cheaper here. And so it's kind of like a hostel Airbnb.
Yeah.
And so we got this small room and we're like, this is a beautiful city. Let's try to record somewhere else besides this like blank wall.
Yeah, it'd been pretty boring.
4
So
feet
hopefully
apart.
this is a little more entertaining.
Hopefully you can hear. And if not, we're going to have another episode next week.
Yeah,
So
if not, just come back next week.
just come back next week. But the other interesting sports one, actually there's a few more interesting ones, but the Bills signed Gable Stevenson, who is an Olympic gold medal and NCAA champion wrestler. So he's going to try to make it at defensive tackle, which is always fascinating to me. I mean, it shouldn't really be that surprising when they get someone who's elite in another sport to try to make it, but it's just kind of fun. It's like, will he? Will they? Won't they?
And wrestling guys are like super technique sound, I would think.
Yeah.
And so like just like learning a couple more techniques is going to be
And just dogs, like,
yeah. Tough guys, got high motors, you know?
I just found out that Allen was on the wrestling team for one practice.
One practice.
And,
After
well, you were on the team the whole year. You were just hurt, right?
on the team loosely so I could get out of class when they went to tournaments and hang out with my friends. But
Sorry,
yeah,
teachers.
I was like the equipment guy after because the first practice I broke my thumb, so that was good. So I was in a cast the entire year.
That's
I'm kind of
wild.
glad I didn't really dive into wrestling. Cutting weight and all that stuff is crazy.
That was the one my football coach tried to get me to wrestle every year. I was
Yeah.
just like locked in on baseball. I don't really want to get hurt right before baseball season.
My parents
I get
were
hurt
like
enough as
scared I was going to get really hurt, and then first practice
You got really hurt.
broke
So,
the thumb. So probably good that there was just the thumb and nothing else.
it's just a valid fear.
Yeah.
What's next? We got, I think, 2 more sports fun facts,
Yep.
updates, whatever you want to call them. It's like a longer 2-minute drill.
We got the Bears on Hard Knocks. So this year the Bears are getting the Hard Knocks treatment during training camp. That's going to be exciting because we get to see Caleb Williams and see what he's really like. And I have a feeling it's going to live up exactly what we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is like pretty zesty. That's a flamboyant man. And
Zesty's
I don't
the
know
perfect
how-
word for
I don't
him.
know how he's so good at football. We'll see how it plays out in the NFL though. It just keeps dropping lower and lower in my mind of how he's going to do.
I'm at the point now where I'm just going to wait and see. It's not even that he's zesty. It's just like,
Flamboyant, paints his nails. Doesn't sound like a good
you're
teammate.
so hung up on the painting the nails.
Dude,
I'm hung up on how he paints his nails.
that's also
Yeah.
a thing.
I don't
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
it's
like if you're writing like explicit words about another team on your hand before the game, and you're the quarterback, like
all the spotlights on you. It's just
yeah, and you're painting your nails. That's tough, dude. Yeah, not high on Caleb Williams at all. So, but excited to see him on Hard Knocks. I think that'll be pretty cool.
I'm not really surprised that was what came up. You take this next one though, and then I'll elaborate on it. I lied. There's actually 2 more
Ooh.
now at this point.
So Louisville officials have dropped all charges against Scottie Scheffler stemming from a traffic incident outside Valhalla Golf Club on May 17th.
Which we have not talked about on this podcast.
We are going to right now because that was a power trip if I've ever seen one.
What was wild is because that was the week we had pre-recorded the episode, so we didn't talk about it at that point. Anyway, wake up, find out that he's been arrested for this. And I was like texting my uncle, my brothers, and all them, and I'm like, I guarantee you that it was just like a power trip, like wild move. Like you look at the police report that came out a little bit later, and he's like, when I motioned for him to stop, he put his foot on the accelerator and dragged me to the ground,
right,
and ruined my pants valued at $80.
Dude. And then you watch the clip, and he doesn't move the car forward barely at all. Nobody's being drugged. Nobody's on the ground. Nothing gets hurt.
It's like you just see him there until he like kind of yanks him out of the window. Because there was the reporter that had its story that he essentially said that Scottie Scheffler went to the left, looked like kind of confused. He was told to stop. He stopped, was cooperating, and then the cop just like drug him out of the car, which is exactly what the video looks like.
Yep. And if anybody's in the golf world is gonna get caught up in a scandal or an arrest, how is it Scottie Scheffler? Dude seems like the most down-to-earth, like, humble winner.
I will say, though, it kind of, like,
man.
made him move it, like, my knock on him, this is so unfair, but I was just like, he seems extra vanilla. And something like this, I'm like, ooh, I kind of like Scottie Scheffler now.
A little spicy.
He has a history like me, being wronged by the law.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's on this pod right now has been wronged by the law at some point in time.
Exactly.
You know.
So join the club,
ASG
Scottie.
5. Yeah, join the club. Wrongfully imprisoned. we should invite him on to talk about that.
Yeah. Hey, Scottie, look, I know you get hit up for podcasts a lot. We've got like 2 or 3 listeners, so big audience. But also, we've all been arrested, so we have that.
We've all been in the pen for at least a few hours.
Oh man, you might end up in this one more time.
Yeah.
Recording on my phone. Got some notes on Alan's phone, so that's what we're hitting. The last thing, the rest wanted me to go ahead and move on to this topic. But Chiefs defensive tackle Isaiah Buggs has been accused of animal cruelty in the latest of bad headlines for the Chiefs this offseason. So it looked like dogfighting. I think they said he had like a Rottweiler and a pit bull something that was like getting starved in cages and stuff. Not good. Hate that. Also, this offseason for the Chiefs now started out with Rashee Rice, the hit and run when he was driving like 100 miles an hour in his Lamborghini.
What is with football players and driving insane speeds and
bugs,
Rashee
Rice, but insane speed, that thing. Then he also allegedly punched a photographer, I think in a nightclub, whatever. Then there were 2 offensive tackles that were arrested for marijuana possession, which is illegal in Kansas City. Then there was the Harrison Butker, I guess, commencement speech. Then Xavier Worthy had his car stolen.
Yeah, do you know anything else about that?
I think it was just like in his apartment complex.
Yeah.
But it just one thing after another. Andy Reid's probably like, I'm too old for this.
Tough look for the Chiefs, but that's just going to make it look like a crazier comeback when they win the Super Bowl again.
They're not going to win it this year.
I hope not.
Niners are.
I wouldn't
bang,
doubt
bang.
it. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Yeah, it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, all right, somebody other than the Chiefs.
It was such a.
I don't really care that much. I don't dislike them as much as a lot of people, but it's getting to the point like, all right, might need something else.
Might need something else.
Yeah.
Although I do think that dynasties are like in some ways a lifeblood of sport.
Yeah, I think it's good for the sport too.
Like you've got to have someone that some people love and they're obnoxious about everyone else because they're able to hate and get.
Got to have an enemy.
You got to have an enemy. So all that to say, Travis Kelce's probably just, like me and Taylor are chilling in Portugal and I'm out of all this.
He's chilling on the tour.
I'm chilling on the tour. But hopefully they don't win it this year. And then, so we were in Madrid. We went to Senegal. That was your first time in Africa.
Yeah, first time in Africa. I was really excited about it, actually. Had to play intro to Lion King 2 on my flight touchdown, which was hype. If you haven't listened to that song, go listen to it right now. It's hype.
Did you hit Sami Namina this time for Africa? Waka Waka?
I did at some point, but not immediately. It was
intro
to Lion King 2, intro to Lion King 1, then Africa by Toto, then I think Waka Waka.
I just wanted to make sure that you hit all of those while you're there.
I did hit
What'd you think about it, though? How did it compare to expectations?
It was pretty cool. We were mainly in city the whole time.
Yeah.
Is it Dakar that you say it, or is it Dakar?
I've heard both. I think it's Dakar.
Dakar
Is what I've heard people from there say.
I heard a couple different, so I wasn't sure.
So
like,
I don't. I think both. You say either one, and people are cool with it.
But anyway, we're in the city for the most part, and honestly, with expectations, it was almost exactly what I would have expected it to be.
Ooh,
yeah. I think also because you explained some beforehand.
Ooh, so I'm a good explainer.
Yeah, just like the architecture, everything being, there was a lot of like red dirt, and not red dirt, but like darker, lighter red dirt, I guess. What would you say?
Yeah, like, just like around like streets. And
around streets, very like dusty.
Yeah.
I like the way you explained it. You'd be driving down the road, and you would have a really nice car, a really old car, a giant bus with people hanging off the back, and then you'd have like a horse and carriage all on the same road.
Yeah, like
which was pretty crazy.
We were saying nice cars, like you'd pass a brand new Wagoneer, which they're like 90, 100 in the U.S.
Yeah,
and then they have import taxes, which are I think they can get up to like 80%. Ooh, almost fell. Can get up to like 80%, and so you're talking about like 160 at least, $150,000, $160,000 cars. Besides like taxis that have just been beat up and dented and weird.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, and I think. Just like seeing the difference in like there was a bigger wealth gap.
Yeah,
definitely a big wealth gap that you could see. But yeah, pretty much spot on to what I kind of would have expected like an African city to be, which was cool because I don't know, it just seemed really cool to me pulling up and being like, oh, it is like exactly like I had thought before.
And that disparity in Dakar, it's all like what you're saying. You're driving down the same street, and in the span of 30 cars, you're going to see that. Yeah. Whereas like South Africa in Cape Town, it might even be more drastic or at least as drastic, but it's so segmented throughout the city. And like the effects of apartheid still exist there heavily. But you know what I mean? Like it was just weird that all of them, even the houses, it's like this might be a little bit more affluent part of the city, but there's not like huge divides in that way.
Right. Yeah. That was interesting to see for sure. I'm glad that Bradley was driving us and we didn't have to drive because there aren't very many rules on the road there. It doesn't seem to be. I think there are like a few rules, but you have to like know exactly what they are. And they seem like they're not super well cut out.
Were you in the car when I was asking him what's like who has the right of way for stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was saying the way that someone described it to him. Also, we'll come right back to that. Bradley, who we're talking about, that's my brother who lives in Senegal. He has been there working at an international school, so it's him and his wife and their 3 kids. And so that was why we went there. Caitlin and I had gone there October 2022. Wanted to go back. Anything you'd add for that? I just realized we've been saying Bradley and didn't say.
Yeah, and the international school is like for kids that their parents are missionaries. Right?
Yeah, for the most part. It's some them, I think some diplomats' kids, and then I think a few locals, and so a mix of those.
Yeah.
And so my brother, works there, kind of business staff, and so manages the team of local employees, and then there's a bunch of different hats that he wears. But so Bradley, that's who that is. He was explaining that the way that he was explained how to drive there is it's like the way of water. It's not who has a right of way. If traffic is flowing this way and you can squeeze through, you do it. It's like you cut through the rocks. If it's not, you just wait on the flow to stop and redirect.
Yeah, and that's a great way to explain it too. That's exactly how it looked. It's just like cars barely missing each other, like squeezing in different spots.
With motorbikes, like squeezing between the cars that are barely squeezing in.
Taking a right-hand turn and a motorcycle just zooming up beside you, like passing you on the side you're turning to is wild.
Yeah, we were joking. It's like you put on your blinker for a right-hand turn, and the motorbike's like, I pass on the right. That's what this means.
Pretty crazy. So the city was cool to see, and then the coolest part of all was when we went on our little surf excursion. So Bradley surfs at a few different spots, and he took us to this one where you have to go onto this little beach, and there's boats everywhere of just like local, I guess they're like fishing boats, and then other people that just take people out for tours. There's a little island off the coast there, not super far, but far enough to where
the hat I'm wearing right now.
Far enough to where you don't want to swim or paddle it.
Yeah.
And so we just popped up. Bradley called over a guy that had a boat, and he took us out on the boat with our surfboards, and we just jumped straight into the water off the island.
Which has been a bucket list thing for me.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do that.
I've always wanted to do that too. And so we're putting sunscreen on the beach, and they're like, "Oh, go ahead and hop on. You can finish on the boat." And with just like the cool experience of driving or like riding in the boat, like past all these other little boats, like to the island. Totally forgot about sunscreen. So I ripped hours in the water without any sunscreen. Joe had sunscreen just on his upper back, and somehow I didn't get burnt, but Joe got toasted.
Somehow you have darker skin than me.
Yeah, but you would think like 3 hours in the water and
you would still get something.
I would get something.
What's funny is I didn't even connect that because I was like, oh, my lower back got like, well, when I say lower back, it's like shoulder blades down. Like my back got kind of like burnt. And I think you were like, wait, are your shoulders good? I was like, yeah. Why?
Yeah. And I only put sunscreen on your shoulders because we didn't finish it. But anyway, riding out there was maybe the highlight of my trip, like just the anticipation of getting to the surf spot off the island, passing all these little fishing boats. Like how would you describe them? They look almost like longer, wider canoes.
Yeah, the one we were on was just like more of a straight up traditional boat, I would say.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I think we have some pictures we can throw in the episode of this. Yeah. But they, that's probably the best way of describing it. Like a long, maybe like 30-foot canoe would be 4 people wide.
And like on the outside of them, they all have like different colors on them. And painted in cool ways, which was pretty sweet. Just that whole like ride was awesome. But we get into the water, start paddling around, and we'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, so jump in. I agree, that was probably like the highlight.
Yeah,
jump in, just paddle right there. Get there. It's not amazing surf. That's how we ended up at this spot. It can be good. Just like while we were there, it was, I would say, like slushy.
Yeah, a little choppy.
And so we ended up going out to this island, which is cool because it's a great experience, like we're saying. But anyway, get over there, starting to get a feel for it. It's maybe like 5 minutes after we get there. Like, any new wave for someone who hasn't surfed much, it's like it takes like a little bit of a learning curve just to figure out how it's breaking, what's the right point to get on. So I was like just getting dialed in, ready to go. And then a wave broke a little bit farther out. So I paddle out, duck dive under it, coming up, and I get caught by the tail. It was just like a little bit longer than I thought. So I get sucked back down, already kind of like out of breath a little bit. And so you're just trying to figure things out. There's like rocks around and, okay, we're all right. But I kind of like flail a little bit and I get pushed to the shallower part. And so like as my legs are flailing, I kick this rock. And I'm like, I just feel like I sliced my toe up. So I pop back up, asked Bradley because he was close. I was like, does it look like my toe's sliced up? And he's like, no, I can't really see anything. I think you're all right. So I'm like, all right, we're good. Sit in the water a little bit, then go for a wave, catch it, stand up, and then there's just shooting pain going through my body. And I immediately just crumble and fall in the water. And I was like, what was that? What just happened?
Yeah, I saw it. I was behind the wave, and I saw Joe stand up, and then he just fell. And I was like, it wasn't like a spot that you would normally fall on a wave.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do?
I'm like, whoa, maybe I broke my toe when I kicked the rock. Who knows? But I spin around, look at it a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. A bunch of like black dots on it. And so either you or Bradley I was like, something look weird with my toe? And they're like, yeah, you straight up got destroyed by a sea urchin down there. And there were probably, fair to say, like 25 spikes at least. Maybe 30. And these things are buried. So for the rest of the trip, I'm in the water. I try to go for another wave, like stand on the outside and barely ride. But
I mean, foot was just littered with sea urchin spots. And they were all over the spot. Like big toe and ball of foot mainly, which is a terrible spot.
And
like you might be able to rock with it being on the side, but that
even
spot,
it covered like ball of my foot, toes, like even the outside. When I thought I was outside of it, still got it. We'll have a picture in the episode right now. But for reference, this other one right now that's popping up that has an arrow, that little dot that looks like it is about a centimeter plus long sea urchin that's just going straight in. Yeah. So all these dots that don't look like anything are just completely buried inside of my foot.
Straight in the foot.
Straight in. So thankfully, my primary care provider was there to be able to dig sea urchins out of my foot. I still have
Can't get out
a
of
number
work,
of them. Yeah, you're never done working. Still have a bunch in my foot, so hopefully I can get the rest.
We're working on getting them out.
And then you got a wave in Africa.
It took me a while to get used to the break there. It was just not as powerful as I thought it was, so I didn't want to get rolled by the wave and end up. I think partially I was also thinking about sea urchins after I saw that with you, and it was kind of shallow there where it was breaking. So I think I didn't want to get rolled, but ended up catching a couple waves at the end that were pretty sweet. So was hyped to catch a wave in Portugal and then in Africa too.
Yeah,
so,
and Bradley had a few. So for the rest, like I said, I went
Bradley
for
was
one more.
doing really well.
Yeah, he was getting them good. You had a couple. I was just kind of watching, enjoying it. I boogie boarded a few. I was like, I'm just gonna ride it and not stand.
It's better than doing nothing there.
Yeah, and then I had the one that I like tried to stand up on the outside. And once again, if you haven't surfed, you need your big toe and the ball of your foot to drive and turn it all.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stood up and went straight for 10 feet and then gave up because it hurt.
That was unfortunate. But the whole experience of going out to the island, getting off the boat and surfing was
awesome.
just sweet. That was better than I was expecting in terms of like surf. I thought we were just going to go to the beach and paddle out, but that whole like trip was sweet.
Yeah. I don't know what else I'd add about it. It was awesome spending time with family, being there. The game was really cool. It was a place called Curiosity, not Curiosity Tea. But yeah, it was cool. Anything you'd add about Senegal in general, or?
No, Africa was sweet. It was like kind of again what I was hoping for.
Yeah,
was hoping it would be. And that the surf excursion was great. Yeah, that's about all I got for Africa right now.
I like that
almost as much as I like Iceman.
What's up, everybody? This week's Unsung Hero goes out to Tyler Buckner. You see, Tyler Buckner has had an interesting 18 months. In 2022, he led the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to a Gator Bowl victory against somebody we won't talk about, and then went from there and transferred to Alabama to play quarterback. You know, I figure why not, right? You're good at quarterback, you should go and try and just win the starting job at Alabama. Sure. Well, he messed around there, got some playing time, and was part of the Rose Bowl team at Alabama. So, once he's done that, he said, you know what, this football thing and being good at it is apparently getting boring, so I'm going to go back to Notre Dame, where I originally signed to play lacrosse. Oh yeah, to play lacrosse, where he has now just won the 2024 college lacrosse championship. So Tyler Buckner, buddy, you have used the transfer portal better than anybody else to date. I cannot wait to see what you do next. Here's to you, Tyler Buckner. You're this week's Unsung Hero.
Ooh, love that. Hate that we had to bring up the Gator Bowl from a couple years ago.
Hate that, but inspiring story.
Shout out to Tyler Buckner for that.
All right, draft. You want to hit it? Because we thought long and hard about this draft.
This is a good one. We're straight battling on this one. Melee, Super Smash Brothers style. So we're drafting our Super Smash Brothers characters from the original Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64. So that limits it to 12 characters, and we're drafting 5 each. So there's going to be a couple that are left out. We'll see who it is.
Yeah. It's going to be personal for those two.
Yeah.
But it's Luigi, Mario, DK, Link, Samus, Falcon, Ness, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox, Pikachu, and Jigglypuff. So those are the teams we're drafting. You and I are team captains. I get the first pick.
Fight.
Give me Pikachu.
Oh. Dang, that's a good pick. Didn't think that one was coming first.
Pikachu.
Pikachu's B down move is pretty unstoppable.
Unless I'm using him, and then I'm going to lose either way.
Yep, that one's pretty tough to beat. I got to go my favorite character in the entire Mario universe, Yoshi.
Yoshi was going to be my pick. You probably thought I was taking Yoshi.
Nope.
Oh, you did it?
You're picking Yoshi.
I think that Pikachu's better. Yoshi's my favorite when he like poops people off the edge. He just like grabs the flowers and poops them off the edge.
Puts him in an egg and dumps him off the edge. I love playing with Yoshi.
Yoshi is my favorite, personally, so I like that pick.
Nice. Ooh, number 2, I'm taking Falcon Punch. Give me Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon.
Yeah. I like Captain Falcon a lot.
Oh.
Probably didn't think I was going there.
Did not.
Falcon
Ooh,
Punch.
I'm just going to go with a couple staples right here to round the team. Give me Link and give me DK.
Nice.
I feel like, those are the bigger dudes to get on the team. You have Captain Falcon. Can't give you too many big boys.
Yep.
So,
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, so I've got Pikachu, Link, DK. You're up now.
I'm going to take Mario and Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Back-to-back picks.
Mm-hmm.
I love Fox's speed. He's got
like
fast kicks, fast punches. You're going more big guys. I'm going smaller guys.
Okay, this one, I'm gonna wait and hit him last. So I'm trying to decide. I'm just gonna process out loud. I'm between right now Samus and Luigi for this pick.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Luigi just because Luigi.
Yeah, I mean,
It's classic.
it's a staple. I got Mario. You have to get Luigi.
I think Samus might even be better in the game. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played, and once again, I wasn't good during the game when I played. So give me Luigi, and then the last one, I love Jigglypuff when he just goes up, and then slams down on people. What was it? Up, B? Is that even the control?
That's not Jigglypuff. That's Kirby.
That's Kirby?
Yeah.
Is it not both? I think it's both of them.
Maybe it's both. Could be both.
Well, I'm going Jigglypuff, and I might regret it if it's not who I think it is.
Because I'm going Kirby for that exact reason.
I think
That's B down. We'll have to look it up, but I know Kirby can do it. And Kirby can, like, eat somebody and turn into that character, which is huge.
that's probably a better pick.
I think Kirby is low-key the best fighter in the whole game
Yeah,
if you can play with him right.
that's fair. So
Teams are close.
I thought that I was getting that. What is it? Oh, you go like up, down, B, right? Is that what the move is? Yeah. So that one, I thought I had.
We'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's Kirby. And
it might be both of them.
It might be both.
Anyway,
Jigglypuff can make you go to sleep, though.
that's true.
I will say it's crazy that
Ness and Samson, or not Samus.
Ness, I personally can't play very well with Ness, but I've played with people that are good with him, and if you can play well with Ness, he might be the best player in the game, which is wild.
That we left him off.
Yeah, I can't personally play with him.
I've just personally never played as him. So
yeah, I get wrecked every time I play with Ness, but I've seen people that are really good with him.
Well, I hope that this gets like a lot of outrage then that we left him off.
Yeah, people might be mad about Ness, but that's okay.
That's all right. Well, I can live with that.
Those people are like nerds that are good with Ness. You got to play the game a lot to get good with it.
We're not nerds.
Not nerds. We're out here in nature.
Nature's pretty neat. Enjoy Barcelona.
Peace.